This is a presentation of the United States Australian Football League, the USAFL.
Alex fullback, okay? Alex C, back pocket, okay?
Hey, boys. All right. Use your voice all day. Use your voice, okay? Swannaroos on three. 1, 2, 3. Swannaroos. Let's go, boys. 1, 2, 3, 3.
Strong in that order was fantastic.
You're just about set to go here from Field 2. The Columbus Cats and the Houston Lonestars. We are underway here in Dublin. Punch forward by Houston, gets a kick inside 50. Just dropped the mark. Runs into an open ball. Kick was blocked off the boot of Bierman. Kerry Nolan centers one to the top of the square. Bouncing ball. Cats able to escape out of defense.
So we asked the question earlier, what would this game look like? Well, I think we saw right off the gate, nice structure from Houston off the opening tap. Forward 50 entry, thought for sure they were going to score, but Columbus, bend, don't break.
Back in comes Houston on the attack.
It's probably a bit out of range from that distance. We'll see if he targets someone. Yeah, there's a full forward on the lead there.
Looks and here comes the kick.
Apologies. Looks like he's forgone that for the second lead attempt.
Went to a 2-on-1. Columbus is able to corral the ball, turn back over. Houston spinning around, skies a kick over. This one will go out on the full.
We'll see what Columbus does here in terms of building out of the back. It's worth mentioning the wind was very, very consistent out of the east and blowing from our view left to right. Started to swirl a little bit. It's not quite as consistent from that direction, coming a little bit from behind us. And so the wind might start to pin the ball down a little more in the far pocket than it was this morning, which was on the near pocket.
Boundary throw, near side half forward. Toss it back into play. Getting a hand to it was Columbus, number 22. Umpire spotted something, it's holding the man. It'll go to the way of the Cats.
Not a lot of expansion in transition here. Columbus probably could have pushed harder right there to really make Houston be accountable, and it ended up working against them. Right, they didn't push out hard enough to make Houston be accountable, and Houston collected an easy intercept mark.
Stephen Johnson with the intercept goes to half forward, off hands. Cameron Sod of the Cats getting a hand to it to break up that mark. Umpire calls for it forward pocket. Dangerous chance for Houston once again. Still no score in this contest.
Effective tap there from Columbus. They're pinned back in their defensive end. That tap was down to the boundary, just what they'd want. They'd be happy to work it up the boundary all the way to their forward line, just like that.
Taken out of the ruck on the full. Wrapped up immediately.
Umpire didn't miss that. That was a throw. We'll see if he fancies himself from here. Might be a bit out of range, but the wind at his back, he might have a crack here.
Daniel Garcia.
Another Revolution hopeful.
Line drive kick. This one will
hit the post.
Hit the behind post, and they'll do a throw in. So Houston with a majority of the time forward, but still no score in this contest.
Columbus's defense has been up to the task. Again, bending but not breaking, but they haven't found effective rebounds yet.
Stalemate of the ruck, picked up by Derek Shotwell. Over to the far pocket, Columbus able to get a kick out and clearance. Punch towards the boundary by Houston to earn the stoppage.
Clyde Simpson involved in that build out for Columbus. He's generally one of the key cast of characters for them. Gets a ton of the football. He's a great up and under player, hard as nails. You'd want, from Columbus' perspective, you'd want him involved as much as possible, but I don't want to say he's getting lost, but the play has bypassed him a little bit a few times here, and he's probably not as involved as he'd like to be.
Houston won a free, taken quickly, and Shane Howard with the first goal of this contest. 1 straight 6 Houston, Columbus yet to score.
So Houston making the most of their chance here. Columbus was pretty resilient in the backs, but that ball there came in from a long distance away, and that's sometimes the value when you're on one of the boundaries of targeting that fat side, allowing that forward to turn onto that ball, especially if the defender runs underneath it, and he's got plenty of time or plenty of space to work in to execute that goal kick.
So Houston played on quickly on the free kick, finds the lone man right in front of goal, and that's the opening score of this contest. Ground ball picked up by the Cats, unable to corral it. Coming to the near side, punched at by Gavin Gatley. Chasing it down is Ryan Rigsler, and holding the ball, free kick to Houston.
A bit stiff there maybe, but it was a good tackle in the end. I'm not sure I would have agreed that's holding the ball, but the pressure was certainly there.
Wrapped up immediately upon receiving it. Ball up just inside the Houston attacking 50. Simon Craig on it. Gets the handball away. Craig a little forward, pass forward to Kerry Nolan, who has a crack for goal.
So Houston here applying the pressure, lost their first game in a close one to DC. So they're fighting for their tournament life, but certainly they pick up a win here after Columbus winning this morning, and I think they're right back in the mix.
Derek Shotwell from the back forward pocket. Sends it straight up the corridor, intercept mark taken by Kyle Kempka.
Boy, Stork pulled a lot of traffic there, so he's that big forward for Columbus. A lot of people went with him, and he ended up being a decoy. Would have loved one of his teammates to get really aggressive and get in that contest and take that mark, because Stork pulled a couple guys away.
Here's Kerry Nolan as his team floods 50. Will approach as if he's taking this shot for goal. Will center one to the top of the square, off hands, and they'll see it through for a behind.
Pretty good spot where he put that. You'd maybe like it a meter or two further out, so it wasn't quite so easy to rush that behind for Columbus. Effective on the defense, though, for Columbus. Concede 1 instead of 6.
So minor score improves Houston's score to 1-1-7 with Columbus yet to score. Middle stages in this opening half.
Yeah, at this point, Houston's really had the lion's share of activity. They've had more forward 50 entries than I can count at this point, and really keeping that pressure forward. Columbus pretty resilient in the defense and to only concede 1-1 so far. What they'd want to do is start to lock it down, though, and they're a great example. Stork, a lot like Tom Hawkins, as full forward coming all the way up to the halfback flank to help them build out.
To your point, I don't think Columbus has had a single inside 50 this match.
Yeah, I think you're right. So Stork may be unlucky there. That ball might have been right on the boundary and out on the full, but mobile as a full forward, and that's maybe what Columbus is going to need to help build out of the back. Another intercept mark for them.
And that's a big grab too. So Columbus again riding that boundary. Gives it right back to Houston. Far side half forward. Picked up by the Lone Stars.
I think at Houston, the way the game's gone so far is maybe happy to stay on that side in the congestion in the events that they can squeak out somewhere else and then target some open space. Continue to let Columbus get sucked in, ping pong that ball back and forth up the boundary like you've seen the last 30, 45 seconds.
They'll ball it up again. Congested game these last couple of minutes. Umpire spotted an infraction. Free kick looks like it's going to go the way of the Lone Stars.
Couple of Columbus on-ballers, or for sure one, Clyde Simpson getting a change there. So fresh legs coming off the bench for them, hopefully. Can light a little spark.
Long kick forward by Garcia.
He took
through
that
for a minor score.
He took that grab one-handed, but I think he was just beyond the line, so through for a behind.
Just ran out of real estate. 1-2-8. Houston Lone Stars. Columbus Cats without a score. Goes again up that far side boundary. The Cats do. Congested up on the line. Houston able to keep it in. You can see that wind kind of just arrests that ball in the air. But that time, it works out the way of the Lone Stars as it goes comfortably into the hands of Nolan.
I'm guessing he's right on the edge of his range here, but again, wind partially at his back. He probably can make this distance. He's certainly posturing like he wants to have a crack at it.
So Kerry Nolan. Kick looks good. And it is through for the second goal of the game.
So Pat, we find ourselves partway through the first term here, and my impression is this. I'm inclined to think Columbus is playing a little bit timid. They haven't had the aggression around the ball. Houston seems to be getting first use of the football here. They're not getting blown away by any stretch of the imagination, but they haven't gotten the ball forward, and I think they're just not creating enough opportunities with possessions for themselves to do it effectively.
Yeah, defense has certainly been keeping the Columbus Cats in this contest. Here's their first chance to go forward. Able to get the ball away from the tackle. Finally, the Cats are able to get inside 50. Left the ball behind. Bumped away from the play. And a clearing kick for Houston just to get the line set as Columbus runs back onto it. Here's a kick to the near forward pocket. Falls just short of the man on the lead.
Odd choice to soccer that backwards in that opportunity. So actually Houston was able to collect a free kick possession for a kicked ball.
Kyle Kemka with a small kick forward. Punched at by Shotwell. Here is Shotwell with the kick inside 50. Great intercept mark there from Houston.
I think that's Chance that just intercepted that. That's a tough matchup for him going against Mark McClure, Stork.
Alex Van Bemmelen. Going down the line are the Lone Stars. Now kick to the corridor, intercepted by Columbus. It's a long kick up the far side boundary. Columbus able to keep it in. Here's the kick inside 50. Comfortably into the arms of Warwick. (2-2-14) Houston Lone Stars. Columbus Cats yet to score. Middle-late stages of this opening half here at the USAFL Super Regionals in Dublin, Ohio. There'll be a ball up just up against the boundary. Not a lot of room to work with. And they'll see it over for a boundary throw.
Huge open paddock here in the near side for us. So if one of these teams can break free and target a winger, a flank out on this side, they're going to break that ball forward.
Well done by Chance Meyer. out of the ruck contest. Play still congested up that far side. Houston able to get some space. A bounce and a kick. Spoiled behind from Columbus. Friendly bounce for the Cats. Soccered forward. It'll be a Columbus free kick. Bump in the back, the call from the umpire.
Looked like it was something off the ball. A little extracurriculars developed after the play, and shame was right in front of the umpire.
They always catch the second. They never catch the first.
Hold, Jeff, hold. I got eyes on the mark,
Columbus directing traffic. Skyward kick. Mark taken by Stephen Johnson of the Lone Stars.
Columbus trying to go forward with a pretty high loopy kick there. They act like they've got a 6'9" forward, which they do, but they can't ask him to climb to the heavens every single time. Stork couldn't get to that contest. That ball just hung in the air too long.
No one can corral that ball, and it'll be a throw-in just in front of us.
Columbus stemming the flow a little bit here. They've stabilized. They're generating a little bit of run from themselves from behind the play. So I'd expect the next 3, 4, 5 minutes to be pretty hard contested. No one seems to have the advantage at this point. We're going to probably see a lot of football on the ground, a lot of tackles, a lot of physicality for teams trying to break the game open again.
Just a 3-kick game here. A Columbus goal before the half ends would be huge.
And not to make a liar out of me, they have turned up the intensity. Look at the tackling and the bumping that are happening. Houston, the better of it.
And it results in a goal.
Well, exactly like I anticipated. As the game had steadied, the intensity lifted a little bit there, the tackling, the bumping, that up and under inside type of play, and Houston got the better of it there. They just kept fighting, kept throwing bodies at the contest until that ball scooted far enough forward that they got an opportunity. Somebody picked it up with just enough time and space to have an effort on the goals.
So Simon Craig with the third straight goal for Houston. They're 3-2-20. The big goose egg for Columbus late in the first half.
And Columbus would be disappointed with that. They were starting to change the flow of the game there and had really steadied, had worked the ball forward a few times. So they'd want to not give that one up.
Hard tackle in the circle. Umpire calls play on. Locked up, and they'll throw it up.
Mass of bodies there. It'll take a moment to unstack, but there's an indication of some of the desperation of those players. They know this is a potential turning point in the game.
Kicked forward by Nicholas Jones. Bouncing ball. They'll run out of room.
See, 1 or 2 players slipped. The surface actually underneath, the grass is in great shape, and it's plenty green, but the surface underneath is just a little hard, and so I think if anyone's wearing slightly longer spikes or not real soft ones, they may be subject to a bit of that slipping.
Beautiful weather here in Dublin, Ohio. The same could not have been said yesterday for much of the Northeast.
Yeah, you're a survivor of that. Bad weather you had to travel through. Chance Meyer on the tap there. He's a great leaper. He's a candidate and on the list in the Revolution program. Just an outstanding athlete. Kid can jump through the roof, which is exciting to watch when he gets a good run at it.
And Houston will be going forward again off of that free kick for a high tackle. Sent forward by Conrad Bayer. Another free kick the way of Houston. Long way out. This one will go past everybody, take a bounce, and threw for a minor score. So it's 3-3-21 now for Houston.
We'll see what Columbus dials up here for a kick-out play. Not a ton of motion right now. Curious to know who they're actually targeting off of this. And maybe nobody. Well, it's Stork. Yep, they've brought him in from full forward to try to contest for this, and contest he does. Takes a really nice grab. He came a long way to go get that.
Gets above the contest.
I said it.
The bodies out of the way.
Yeah,
great grab.
I said that earlier. That's a Tom Hawkins type of run to help the team build out, taking grabs on the half back flank.
They had a dive for that mark. Columbus able to get it. Spoiled behind at half forward. Now Houston can go quickly, but the siren will beat the play. So at the end of the first half, Columbus without a score, and Houston a 21-point lead, 3 goals, 3 behinds.
Well, I'll tell you what, Houston more or less had an answer for everything Columbus did, and maybe didn't have to have an answer a lot of the time because Houston got first use of the football. Columbus not there with a lot of the pressure and the intensity that we saw in the first game. Houston's really linking up and connecting a lot better. They did have the use of the wind in the first half, so we'll see how they make adjustments in the second. But probably not a lot to change from their side because they're getting numbers to the contest, and that's been effective for them. Columbus, however, is going to have to get to the chalkboard at halftime and make some adjustments. Getting through Stork has been effective, but some of their major ball winners aren't getting the possessions you'd expect for them to be successful.
20 minutes down, 20 to go here from Dublin, Ohio. It is halftime here from the 2024 USAFL Super Regionals. Houston 21, Columbus nothing.
This presentation of the USAFL is brought to you by Tasmanian. Quietly pursue the extraordinary. Coopers. Australian made and owned. Coopers Beer. Aussie Sports USA. The official apparel provider of the USAFL. Odin Mortgage and Tax. Australian mortgages and taxation for expats and overseas residents. CyberSolve IQ. The inaugural cybersecurity partner of the USAFL. Two Hands Restaurant, fueling your lifestyle. Watch AFL. Stream every match overseas. Brown Brothers, family winemakers since 1889. HBC Event Services. Premier Sports Medicine. And the members of the USAFL.
Second half here from Dublin, underway from the USAFL 2024 Super Regionals. Houston 21, Columbus 0.
Yeah, Pat, we talked about as the first half ended, that intensity for Columbus needing to lift, that pressure around the football. That first tap might have been an indication. We saw some of the bodies really flying around, hunting that football. We'll see if they can keep that intensity up through the half. On the flip side, Houston a little bit different order. They sitting on the lead but going against the wind now, so they've got to adjust to that in the second half.
Here's the throw in. Houston won the tap. No room to work with, and they'll throw it in again.
And Columbus will be pleased enough with this. A couple of boundary throws in their forward half. They'll look for that opportunity to squeak out the back somewhere somehow and get that forward entry.
Still congested, ball out the back, picked up by Houston. They'll get a kick forward. And it looks like that one is out on the full. Columbus over to half forward. Also out on the full. So sloppy beginning to this second term.
Yeah, ball pinned over on that side. And again, you'd want to find that opportunity to squeak out, get that switch of play, utilize this open space that's right in front of us here, Pat, and then make your motions forward.
Here's Houston's first flurry.
Yeah, classic problem. I think not enough emphasis in the USAFL around using the corridor. So a lot of these teams just oftentimes as a result of just learning the skills of the game are taught kick up the boundary because that's a safer place than trying to kick into the corridor if you stuff up a kick. Here, finally a corridor entry kick and the switch is on. I've been asking for it for a while now. We'll see if Columbus can build it all the way forward, but certainly they've got a lot more space to operate.
They want to play it quickly. The kick takes the entire time.
Connecting through that big forward Stork there. He led a long way to come get this. Again, helping out on the halfback to have his team build out through him.
Off the hands of John Miller. And handballed over the line by Houston.
Good job to Columbus on the halfback line there to look laterally before going forward. They knew they had been congested on that far side of the field for a while. They found that outlet, built up the side, and now they're taking a boundary throw and they're 450.
Beautiful tap out of the ruck by Houston. Clearing kick comes to the near side. Picked up by Kerry Nolan. Gets the kick forward. Umpire calls play on as Simon Craig took it off the bounce. 2-on-1 gang tackle. No prior called. It'll be a ball up.
Really great example right in front of us, Pat. It was simple. Houston got the numbers there. It was a one-on-one until another Houston player arrived. He ran hard to provide an extra man, and it's a very simple handball to work up the wing.
Tap down. Columbus is able to run it out of the contest. Small chip kick forward, intercept mark taken. Good hold by Alex Van Bemmelen. He'll look up to half forward. It was a good intercept marked by Columbus. Now here's the kick into the corridor. Back and forth we go as Kepka takes the intercept.
A little bit of display here of the quality of these sides. A couple of halfback intercept marks there. Trying to launch that rebound, but then a really good defensive effort going back the other way.
Columbus moving forward quickly after winning that free kick. Played to the top of the square. Unable to get a clean kick. It's through for a behind.
Derek Shotwell there covered a lot of ground from being involved in this breakout here on the near side. Now he's involved in that contest on the far side. That's an example of the type of ground you need to cover, the amount of running you need to do as an athlete in this sport to rack up those possessions, especially for the effective ball users, get more involved.
So Columbus breaks the goose egg with the minor score. It's 3-3-21 for Houston. Columbus the one behind.
Columbus starting to generate a lot of run off their halfback line. They've had these intercept marks, or they've been able to spoil and collect possession there. They're often targeting Mark McClure there. They did again. Big fly, didn't quite bring it down, but the ball's on the ground for them to contest. But here again, Houston on the rebound, and they've got plenty of space to run.
Plenty of space, plenty of speed. Here's the kick to a one-on-one, just dropped short of the contest. Picked up by Columbus, gets the handball away, and Derek Shotwell will clear it.
Good numbers. There's our problem, the same problem we had this morning. There's a pair of number 4s. That one was not Derek Shotwell. It's the imposter Derek Shotwell, the other number 4 for Columbus. They had numbers there, so bad luck that Houston's ending up with the free kick at this point. Danny there, number 14, ends up being effective, just barely, for them to work out the switch.
Pressure in this game has really ratcheted up. The tackles are getting harder, and the goals keep coming for Houston.
I'd go ahead and call that one against the flow of play. Columbus really had the vast majority of possession in the last 5 minutes. It hadn't shown up on the scoreboard for them yet, unfortunately, but they were working a lot more in the forward half of the field. There, Houston mounted a bit of a rebound play. The transition really paid off for them there because they ran hard. They had a few numbers at it. They switched the play, and that ended up being really effective for them in the end.
That really hurts the Cats. It's 4-3, 27 now, just to the one Columbus behind. It's a 26-point lead as we approach the mid-stage of this second half.
So critical juncture for Columbus, obviously. They've got to prevent Houston from hitting the scoreboard again. It's going to take them tying up right there, a tackle, tying up that ball again until they get use of it and they're able to build it forward.
Spills free. Picked up by the Cats. Spins around, gets the kick away.
Sellers with the fly. Oh, and a big grab.
Columbus floods inside 50. Here's the kick from Sellers.
That was a big grab from Stork. Guy's got more nicknames than I can count, but man, what a great grab. He had plenty of run up at that, and my gosh, if you're 6'9", you'd sure expect him to, but there was a lot of traffic under that football. Good grab, gave him a chance in forward 50. Houston, though, up to the task, rebounded.
Back in again come the Cats. But Houston right there to intercept.
Columbus had numbers there. We're able to go right back inside 50. In the end, probably took just one step too far before he executed his kick. Maybe was trying to get in range. Maybe didn't see the options he wanted to in terms of connecting a pass.
So it'll be a throw in now. Centered for Columbus. Spills out the back. Kick was blocked. Not really much of a lane to get it through. Dribbler, Jason Edwards on the bottom of the pile. And Houston will get the free. Edwards taken high.
Houston just slowing the pace down a little bit here, and I think that's a smart move. Columbus is trying to go up tempo a little bit so they can hit the scoreboard quickly. Houston taking their time to get set up. They're finding a one-on-one matchup they like.
26-point lead, not exactly kill the clock mode yet, but no need to take any chances when they've had the run of play for a majority of this game.
Nice Shepherd there, freed up number 9, I think it is. Oh, and Stork on the other end of that one. Big booming kick, forward 50 entry, and why wouldn't you, right? With his height and leaping ability, he's been strong overhead. He had an awesome game in the first game, I thought. Did a lot of things for a big man, actually picking up the football and on the ground very effectively. This game, he's been really key for Columbus and the few chances they've generated up in the air.
So Mark McClure. Kick looks straight. And Columbus with their first major of the game off the boot of Mark McClure.
Yeah, Pat, you're starting to feel that flow of games start to change. Columbus had steadied. Unfortunately, for them, they gave up that kick going against the flow there to Houston, who tallied another score. But here we've seen a couple of big marks in forward 50, a couple opportunities on goal. Now they're starting to hit the major scores. So Houston's going to look for the opportunity to steady here and make sure that they don't give up the lead that they've built.
So the Cats cut the lead down to 20. 27 plays 7. Mid stages of this second half.
Daniel Garcia in the tap there. Pretty good leaper. He was a little sore on the knee. Came in with an injury, I think. Talked to him at training yesterday. But he's been good. He's been effective for them in the rock.
Houston Just looking to leave a little bit of pressure. It'll bounce inside the boundary. Little tap on for Simon Craig. Finds some space. Works that up the boundary. Good little tap to keep it in. And the Cats will go forward once again.
Cats found just enough handballs in the corridor to break free. Went back to the boundary again, and maybe there was just too much traffic, residual traffic from when the play was there a moment ago.
Kicked was blocked. And Chase Beardsley was taken high.
Bad luck for Chance there. He was applying good pressure, just came in a little high on the tackle. Columbus right back in forward 50.
And a clear look at the goals. Second straight for Columbus.
There's Stork again. Sellers didn't take a clean mark, didn't have to. Got fumbled right in front of him off the Houston hands, and he was able to collect it. Great timing on the run. Again, stuff you love to see. You'd expect that from your smaller players. But, man, the tallest guy in the field doing that sort of work is fantastic. He collects that ball, whirls, kicks, goal.
All the pressure Columbus put on in this first part of the second half is finally beginning to turn into scoreboard pressure. 4-3-27 Houston. Columbus 2-1-13, just clawing back that lead in our ride to the finish.
Houston's probably sensing it. So if I'm them right now, I'm looking at a couple key things. One, I need to tie up that ball better in the midfield lines. Don't allow those forward 50 entries. They've seen who the target is. It's obvious. He's the tallest guy in the field. And secondly, can you prevent him? How can you contest those balls in flight? He's on a lead now. Are they going to find him again? Just about. Houston's got to find a way to collect the ball in and around those contests, make sure it comes to ground, and then make sure that Columbus isn't able to turn that ball further forward.
So yet another forward 50 stoppage for Columbus. Tapped on back, run onto by a Lone Star. Umpire spotted something. It'll be a free kick for Columbus.
He looks like he's in range there. He's posturing like he wants to have a crack at this. The talls all head down to the goal square in case this falls short. But with the wind at his back, I think he's got this distance.
So John Miller on the edge of his range to make it 3 straight for the Cats. That's not a great kick, but it's just enough. 3 straight for Columbus. And it's an 8-point lead for Houston now.
Pat, I'm not going to attribute all of this to the wind. That certainly is going to be a factor. We've talked about it a little today. It's not stiff. I'm going to call it a breeze. It's worth maybe 1 or 2 goals, but the reality is Columbus has found a way to get more numbers at the contest, and it hasn't always been with their key guys. I'd expect a couple of their key ball followers, like Clyde Simpson, to be one of those guys. It's impressive that Columbus is actually doing this without him being the guy, the standout, picking up the football all the time.
So it's an 8-point lead now for Houston. 3-1-19 Columbus, 4-3-27 for Houston. Columbus with the last 3 goals of this contest, free kick going the way of the Lone Stars.
So Houston will look to steady here. They've got possession off the center kick. Big booming kick up into forward 50. We'll see if they can get numbers at this.
It was well struck. Columbus, the nice little fend off to get the defenders away.
Another example there, Pat. Columbus just had enough numbers to handball out and get free. Now we're back in neutral territory.
Picked up again by Steven Johnson. Spins it to a congested area just inside 50. Columbus once again with comfortable possession.
It was nice of the defender there to lower his eyes. He could have blazed away. He actually saw somebody open and was only about 20 meters away. Much better option in that case. Ultimately, and it probably ends up about the same with a tie up here and a ball up right in front of us. But that was clever by that defender.
2-kick ball game here in the mid stages of the second term. Run down from behind by Stokely. Got to get it forward, the Cats. And deliberate paid against Houston. Columbus with the free kick out of defense.
Not a call we see often in the USAFL, the
Not at
deliberate
all.
there, but there was no intent to keep that inbounds. He just soccered it off the ground and straight over to the boundary.
Using the old deliberate out of bounds rule in the USAFL.
Pat, the intensity's lifted a little. You can hear the players yelling louder. There's a little bit more chatter on the field. Bodies are starting to crash into each other. They're sensing this game is on a knife's edge here. A goal either way might tip the scales enough to bring this down to the wire.
Both sides won it. Not a lot of time left on the clock. And Chance Meyer will take the free kick. Wynn arrests that one in the air. Intercept mark taken by Columbus. That's a big kick forward.
Tall to tall, that key defender back there, number 9 for Columbus, James Smith, with a big mark, play on in the back, and then he finds his big full forward target, Mark McClure, and Stork's going to have a shot on goal.
So McClure to make it a one-kick ball game. And that he does.
Well, I dare say he's put himself at the forefront for selection here with the national team coaches and the selection committee. He's had a really good game, 2 games now, showing a lot of versatility in his style of play. I would guess he's probably taken 6 or 7 contested grabs this game against Houston. Is that his 3rd goal now, I think?
That it was. 3 goals, 3 votes for this game. 2-point ball game as we approach the end of this one. Ground stop in the square. Umpire will throw it up.
No surprise there. Clyde Simpson right at the bottom of it. He's got his nose for the football when it's on the ground.
Rucks cancel each other out. Columbus will get the clearance. And that is it.
Players are all saying play on. It sounded like our siren, is it not?
It sounded.
Nope, the players are walking off on the the first oval.
I could have sworn I saw the full-time signal from the umpire.
Yeah, confusing moment there.
Everybody.
We're still alive, so 2-point game and minutes left.
The comeback is still on for Columbus.
Houston with a hard attack at the football, and that's what they're going to need. Look at the desperation from the players. They're mustering what they got left in the tank. The bodies are flying at the football now.
Ball half forward in the half forward of Columbus. Houston content to go stoppage to stoppage. Killing more time off this clock.
Pat, there might be 28 players in frame. I'm not sure exactly how tight the frame is, but they are really sucked into this contest. Everybody's hungry to get that football. I'm sure Houston's happy to tie it up again and again and again and just see the game out that way.
And that's our siren. Columbus with a valiant effort here in the second half, but unable to complete the comeback. They fall by 2 points to the Houston Lone Stars. Your final score is 4-3-27 Houston, 4-1-25 Columbus.
Well, Pat, based on the other results in this division, Division 2 here is shaping up to be really interesting, and we'll see who comes out in the end as the 3rd round of games. We got to get a result from next door yet. That was that siren we heard with just a minute or 2 to go here. Fantastic effort from both sides. Each of them had their half, certainly. The adjustments made at halftime made that a really interesting game.
Coming up next on this broadcast will be the Baltimore Dockers versus the Minnesota Freeze. Stay tuned. You're watching the 2024 USAFL Super Regionals live from Dublin, Ohio.
This presentation of the USAFL is brought to you by Tasmanian. Quietly pursue the extraordinary. Coopers. Australian made and owned. Coopers Beer. Aussie Sports USA. the official apparel provider of the USAFL. Odin Mortgage and Tax, Australian mortgages and taxation for expats and overseas residents. CyberSolve IQ, the inaugural cybersecurity partner of the USAFL. Two Hands Restaurant, fueling your lifestyle. Watch AFL, stream every match overseas. Brown Brothers, family winemakers since 1889. HBC Event Services, Premier Sports Medicine, and the members of the USAFL.